Have you ever felt like a prisoner in the dark room of your own mind? What if the key to unlocking the universe's greatest mysteries was hidden in the very breath you take? Imagine a master thief trapped in a pitch-black house, surrounded by his captors. In a fraction of a second, his breath stops, time freezes, and a sudden, impossible surge of divine strength allows him to escape. How did he tap into a power entirely beyond time and space? Or consider a renowned heart surgeon who discovered a medically inexplicable miracle. By simply placing his patient's photographs in his meditation shrine, he witnessed success rates that defied all clinical logic. From a struggling young boy transformed into a brilliant genius by the sheer frequencies of a holy mantra, to heavy, lifeless stones floating across a vast ocean to form a legendary bridge. The evidence of this unseen power is all around us. Even nature responds, witnessing plants physically bending to the divine melody of a sitar. Today, we dive deep into the fathomless science of self-realization, a profound truth hidden within an ancient couplet. Without the association of truth, wisdom cannot awaken, and without the grace of the divine, such association is never easily found. Are you ready to transcend time, awaken your inner wisdom, and experience boundless love? Let the journey begin.
Couplet. When a seeker requested me to expound upon this couplet, my initial state of mind was such that I felt I wouldn't be able to offer a very lengthy explanation. However, when I centered my mind and delved into its depths, I realized that this simple couplet encompasses the entire science of self-realization. No matter how much is spoken about it, it will never be enough. When I first read this couplet, in my ignorance, I failed to grasp its true essence, but as I dove deeper, I found it to be completely fathomless. The couplet is merely 2 lines long. Binu satsang Vivek na hoi, Ram kripa binu sulabh na soi. Means, without the company of truth, wisdom does not awaken, and without the grace of Lord Rama, such company is not easily attained. How simple it seems! But if you reflect upon it, the very first phrase is Binu Satsang, that is, without Satsang or without association of truth. If we truly understand the word Satsang, we realize it is no small term. Satsang means a space where the truth is being discussed, where individuals gather to contemplate and reflect upon the ultimate truth. Satsang can encompass many dimensions. Firstly, chanting the Lord's name is Satsang, thinking about Him is Satsang. We have an abundance of sacred scriptures. Studying them is also a form of satsang. Meeting our gurus or seeking the company of the enlightened is satsang. Looking within oneself, observing one's own breath, through which we catch a glimpse of our inner soul, that too is indeed a satsang, the association of truth. Meditating upon the Lord, deep contemplation, and self-study are all forms of satsang. Meditation and samadhi, or a state of ecstasy, are the highest states of satsang, the association of truth. So, Binu Satsang Vivek na hoi, look how everything is encapsulated within Satsang. Is there anything spiritual that falls outside of it? Whatever Satsang we participate in, and have been practicing for months, is precisely this. Without Satsang, Vivek cannot awaken. But what does Vivek mean here? Vivek carries a profoundly deep meaning, wisdom, the power of ultimate discrimination. Without self-study, without reading the scriptures, without remembering the name of Lord Rama, without sitting in solitude with oneself, and without meditation, the awakening of wisdom within us is impossible. Even if we remain endlessly engaged in the worldly life, divine wisdom will not dawn upon us without these practices. Vivek means true knowledge, and our entire life's journey is, after all, a journey toward this knowledge. Thus, the journey of wisdom begins solely with Satsang. And Satsang has infinite facets. Whatever resonates with you, whatever aligns with your inner nature, that is the right Satsang for you. Whether you sing Kirtan, the Lord's praises, chant His mantras, enter a state of meditation, attain samadhi, or a state of ecstasy, or simply sit in the divine presence of those who have realized the Lord, these are all Satsang. And through Satsang alone, true wisdom will illuminate within you. Now, what is this knowledge or Gyan? True knowledge will connect you with the cosmos. Through this wisdom, you will realize that the entire universe is intrinsically one. We all live in separate rooms, our physical dwellings are different. But if you think deeply, the air flowing through all our homes is exactly the same. We have merely built walls to separate ourselves from one another, otherwise, everything is one. Similarly, we are physically distinct, but the soul residing within each of us is identical. When you delve deep within and recognize that soul, that is true Vivek or wisdom. Satsang naturally guides you toward this very wisdom. Consider the analogy of an apple tree. A tree grows from a single seed. It bears thousands of apples, and inside each apple, there are numerous seeds. Every single seed has the potential to become a whole new tree, which in turn will bear millions of apples and millions of seeds. And we all consume the fruits of this same profound cycle. So, understand this. What is the fundamental difference between you, me, or anyone else? The same soul resides within us, we take in the same sustenance, and we breathe the same air. If we truly feel this underlying unity and realize it, not just in mere words, but within our consciousness and our soul, then understand that we have become one with the divine. Often, when we meet someone, we look at their physical form, their body, and their complexion. Based on these outer appearances, we either feel an aversion toward them or choose to converse with them. But this is merely the superficial. If you look beneath the surface, the soul within everyone is the same. If we learn to see past the physical and witness the soul, it becomes abundantly clear that we are actually seeing the Supreme Soul in everyone. This is Vivek, this is true knowledge. If we elevate ourselves to this state, know that wisdom has truly dawned within us. As we climb the steps of this wisdom, the very first thing to blossom within us will be love, love for the divine, and then devotion will follow. See how beautifully it flows. From remembrance comes wisdom, from wisdom comes love, and from love emerges profound devotion. And when love arrives, God arrives. As I have mentioned before, Jesus Christ declared, "Love is God." Thus, our own state of being merges with the divine state. Where did we begin this journey? We began with Satsang, that is association of truth. Starting from Satsang, we awakened Vivek, which led us into love, deepened into devotion, and ultimately united us with God. And so, we arrive at the second line of the couplet, Ram Kripa Binu Sulabh Na Soi, means, without the grace of Lord Ram, this state is not easily attained. Once we are blessed with the grace of the Lord, every aspect of our life is filled with effortless ease, grace, and accessibility. Truly, there is nothing greater than this. Where did we begin this journey? We began with Satsang. Starting from Satsang, we awakened, which led us into divine love, deepened into devotion, and ultimately united us with God. Thus, as the second line of the couplet states, Ram Kripa Binu Sulabh Na Soi, when the grace of Lord Ram descends upon us, every aspect of our life becomes effortlessly accessible and full of ease. Truly, there is nothing greater than this. To bring clarity to these two lines, I would like to share a few examples illustrating how, when love and devotion awaken, the Lord's grace transforms life, making the impossible effortless. And it all begins with surrender. There was once a gentleman who was blessed with a son by the Almighty. However, as the child grew a little older, the parents became deeply distressed. The boy seemed completely devoid of understanding. No matter how they tried to guide him, his intellect simply would not function. Overwhelmed by their inability to raise him properly, they took him to a highly evolved guru when he was around 8 to 10 years old. The guru, radiating divine light, reassured them, if the Lord wills it, everything will be fine. By the grace of Lord Ram, he will be healed. Leave him with me and return after a year, not before that. The Guru instructed the boy, eat your meals on time and do whatever chores the senior disciples assign you. But you must do one specific thing for me. Spend exactly half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the afternoon, and half an hour in the evening sitting right there, chanting the Gayatri mantra. He taught him the mantra and added, I will not interfere with whatever else you do throughout the day. My only concern is whether you are doing this practice regularly. If you fail, I will punish you, otherwise, you are completely free. The boy found this arrangement quite easy. He diligently chanted the Gayatri mantra for 30 minutes, 3 times a day. He ate well, and spent the rest of his time playing in the ashram or doing tasks he enjoyed. He followed his Guru's command with absolute obedience. Within just 2 months, a miraculous improvement appeared in the boy. The Guru then initiated his formal education, taught him advanced mantras, and asked the other disciples to tutor him. My point is, merely by consistently chanting the divine mantra, he transformed into a brilliant, gifted child within a single year. When his father returned after 12 months, he couldn't even recognize his own son. Such a monumental change was brought about simply by the power of the divine name. The name makes everything attainable. Take the second story, the tale of Sage Valmiki, which I shared previously. His Guru had awakened him by asking, why do you sustain your family through sinful deeds? What will you achieve by ruining your own soul? The Guru gave him the mantra of Ram. Initially, his karmic baggage was so heavy he couldn't even pronounce the holy name. But by repeatedly chanting the rivers, Maramara, that means deaded, he eventually slipped into uttering Ram Ram. He became so profoundly absorbed in it that birds nested in his matted hair and anthills formed around his meditating body. He transformed into such an extraordinary seer that he composed the great epic, the Valmiki Ramayana. All of this is nothing but the supreme glory of the Lord's name. You might also be familiar with the story of Kalidasa. As a young man, he was utterly devoid of intellect. He would climb a tree, sit on a branch, and chop off the very same branch he was sitting on, lacking even the basic sense to know which side to cut from. To mock and trouble a highly scholarly and saintly woman, the villagers deceitfully arranged her marriage to Kalidasa. When she brought him home, she realized her new husband had zero intellect or wisdom. However, she did not panic. She accepted it gracefully, thinking, this is the Lord's will. Let me direct his mind toward the divine and make him worthy. She guided Kalidasa toward spirituality and made him chant the holy name. Within a few years, his hidden genius burst forth. You are likely aware of the world-renowned play Abhigyan Shakuntalam and his many other literary masterpieces. All of this is the sheer glory of the Lord. And where does it originate? It comes from wisdom, from true knowledge, and from a deep, abiding love for the divine. The story of Tulsidas is equally inspiring. His wife gave him a severe emotional jolt, rebuking him, "You risked your life in a raging storm just for this body of flesh and bones? Why don't you direct this intense, maddening attachment toward the Lord?" From that very moment, his consciousness shifted. He devoted himself entirely to God. You know what a supreme enlightened soul he became. We revere and worship his works to this day. This is all the glory of Lord Rama. His glory is infinite and without end. Similarly, great souls like Swami Vivekanand, Mahatma Buddha, Lord Mahavir, and Paramahansa Yogananda all achieved such immense, eternal greatness the moment they aligned their lives toward the supreme truth. These stories we discussed are for human. But let us look at nature. If you look at plants, suppose you are cultivating a crop. It has been scientifically proven that if the divine melody of Ram Nam, the name of Lord Rama, is played regularly in the fields, the grains harvested are larger and noticeably sweeter. Why? Because crops and plants are living beings. Their level of consciousness may be lower, but the consciousness is undeniably there. Through the vibrations of the Lord's name, that consciousness evolves, and they too bow in reverence toward the divine. You may not know this, but when the legendary musician Pandit Ravi Shankar used to play his sitar in his garden, an incredible phenomenon occurred. His garden had many varieties of plants, and he played his sitar there regularly. He later shared his own observation. The plants he had grown right in front of him all began to bend toward the direction the music was coming from. He himself was astonished. How could this be? Plants possess life, even if their lifespan is just a year or two, drawn by the melody of the sitar, akin to the music of the divine name. They leaned toward the Lord. Even though their roots had to twist and turn, they miraculously found their way to the water source. If there is so much bliss, peace, and magnetism in the divine sound that even plants physically bow toward it, what greater miracle could there be in this world? We all know the epic tale of when Lord Rama was marching to conquer Lanka, and the vast ocean blocked their path. How could this infinite sea be crossed? The monkey army began chanting the name of Rama. They wrote Ram on heavy stones and cast them into the sea. Miraculously, the stones did not sink. They floated, forming a massive, unbreakable bridge, Ram Setu. By the sheer glory of Ram Nam, the entire army marched across it and conquered Lanka. Such unfathomable glory of the divine name blossoms solely from devotion, love, wisdom, and true knowledge. But why look so far into the past? Look at the present. Individuals who solely and continuously chant the name of Rama, especially if chanted with deep meditation, which amplifies its glory, rarely suffer from heart diseases. Science has also verified and established this. The phonetic vibrations of chanting Ram keep our arteries completely clear. The vibrations prevent fats and cholesterol from accumulating and forming blockages. You have a living, visible example right before you, the priests and pundits of our temples. They happily consume rich, heavy foods like malpuya, rabdi, thick milk, and cream. Have you ever heard of them suffering from widespread heart disease? They barely even exercise. However, their daily routine involves continuously chanting sacred mantras throughout the day. Even if they haven't attained the ultimate spiritual realization, the mere physical act of chanting protects them from such ailments. Tell me, isn't the glory of the Lord's name boundless? No matter how much we praise it, it will always fall short. There was once a highly renowned heart surgeon who had also reached an elevated state of spirituality. The story I am about to share is well documented, and you can read about it yourself. A thought crossed his mind to conduct a spiritual experiment. For 15 days, he decided to take a photograph of the specific patient he was scheduled to operate on that day and place it in his home shrine where he meditated. He would sit before the photo and earnestly pray to the Lord, "Let there be no mistake during this surgery, and let this person recover completely." For 15 consecutive days, he placed the respective patient's picture in his meditation room, prayed deeply, and then went in to operate. He noted in his memoirs that out of those 15 days, only one patient experienced a minor complication. The surgeries of the other 14 were so spectacularly successful that he had never witnessed anything like it in his entire medical career. Then, another thought occurred to him. Now, I will perform surgeries for the next 15 days without meditating, without placing any pictures in my shrine, and without seeking the Lord's help. For the next 15 days, he performed his daily operations just like any ordinary, purely clinical doctor would. He documented that out of those 15 operations, barely 8 were successful, and tragically, 7 patients passed away. Think about this. This is no ordinary anecdote. This is a practical observation by a medical professional proving the immense, life-saving power of the Lord's name and prayer. The divine name has the power to unravel and resolve your problems in every conceivable way. It is this same divine, mysterious energy that leaves us astonished when we look at the Great Pyramids. Science is still unable to solve the incredible mystery of how those massive stones were lifted and perfectly placed so high up. However, in the texts of ancient spiritual science, it is documented that through the sheer power of mantra chanting, though I do not know exactly what specific mantras were used or at what frequency they were chanted, it is explicitly stated that such immense energy was generated that those massive stones would levitate on their own. Through the focused power of the mind, they could be directed and placed exactly where desired. The vibrations of these mantras, or the subtle frequencies of sacred sound, essentially convert into potent energetic or electrical vibrations. Such boundless power is generated from that divine sound that you can accomplish absolutely anything. Therefore, I wish to tell you this: whether you sing the devotional hymns of the Lord or sit in deep meditation, that very same wondrous, miraculous power will awaken within you, a power that will elevate you to the Supreme Soul, leaving no trace of suffering in any form. Think about it. If colossal stones can be lifted by this spiritual energy, can the trivial problems of our daily lives not be completely dissolved by chanting the Lord's name? Everything can be resolved. All that is required within you is unwavering faith, Shraddha. Become one with the Lord and chant the name of Rama. There is absolutely no question of it not working. This is precisely why it has been said, Ram Kripa Binu Sulabh na soi. Without the grace of Lord Rama, nothing is easily attainable. But when His grace descends, sorrow simply cannot exist in your life. Now, I would like to share a deeply fascinating and astonishing tale with you. There was once a master thief who committed burglaries for many years but was never once caught. Eventually, people in the surrounding areas figured out that he was a thief and that this was his trade. Yet, to everyone's absolute amazement, he still remained unapprehended. However, one day, a profound awakening occurred in the thief's mind. He thought to himself, I apply such immense, unbroken concentration to the act of stealing. But what do I truly gain from it in the end? Just a little fleeting wealth and gain. Why shouldn't I abandon all this and direct this very same intense focus toward the Lord? With this realization, he gave up stealing entirely and surrendered his mind to the divine. The story goes on to say that he had a son who had grown to be about 18 or 20 years old. The boy approached his father and asked, "How exactly do you steal so flawlessly? Teach me your art." The father replied, "I have given up stealing." But the son pleaded and insisted relentlessly. Swayed by his stubborn persistence, the father finally agreed to take him along on a heist just once. Together, the father and son breached the wall of a house and slipped inside. It was pitch black indoors. The master thief, relying on his years of heightened intuition, knew exactly how to navigate the dark house and what to do, while the young boy quietly trailed behind him. Creeping through the darkness, they eventually located the very room where all the household's most precious valuables, the gold, the silver, and the wealth, were kept. So, both the father and the son entered the room. But the moment they stepped inside, the father abruptly slipped out, bolted the door from the outside, intentionally made some noise, and quickly left for home. The noise instantly woke up the household. The young boy was left entirely alone inside, locked from the outside with no way to escape. He panicked intensely. What do I do? What do I do? His mind went completely blank. He cursed his father in his mind as much as he could. Is this any way to teach someone how to steal? Meanwhile, the family members realized the noise was coming from that specific room. A maid lit a candle, unbolted the door, and stepped inside. The moment she entered, the boy saw her. In a flash of pure instinct, he blew out her candle and bolted out of the room. He knew the layout of the house and ran blindly, with the entire household chasing right behind him. There was a well along his escape route. As the crowd pursued him, the terrified boy noticed a massive, heavy stone lying nearby. With a sudden burst of energy, he pushed the huge stone into the well, creating a deafening splash. Hearing the loud noise in the dark, the pursuers assumed the thief had fallen into the well and drowned, so they abandoned the chase. Running for his life, the boy finally reached home safely, only to find his father sleeping peacefully, snoring away. Furious, he woke his father up. The father simply said calmly, "We will talk in the morning." When morning came, the father asked him just one question. "So, did you learn how to steal? You managed to escape even though I locked you inside. How did you manage to get out safely? Did you understand the secret or not?" The son replied, I have no idea where that sudden surge of immense strength came from. Without even thinking, I blew out the candle, pushed past the maid, and ran for my life. Then the Father revealed the profound truth. Success in any endeavor is achieved only when a person rises above time and space. Rising above time and space means entering a state of absolute timelessness, where even your breath stands perfectly still. That state of supreme presence, beyond time and space, is nothing but the raw power of the divine. When you were trapped alone in the dark, the Father continued, you were pushed beyond time and space. You lost all track of time, your breathing paused in extreme alertness, and in that split second, you were completely aligned with the present moment, with the Lord. When you threw that heavy stone, that sheer, impossible strength was also the Lord's power. So, to accomplish anything, whether it is a worldly act like stealing or the ultimate spiritual journey toward God, if you do not transcend time and space, you will never attain true success. The Father then concluded, ever since this profound realization dawned upon me, I abandoned all worldly acts. Now, I focus all my attention solely on the Lord and strive only to attain Him. He advised his son, give up this path of theft. I left it behind years ago. Join me on this spiritual journey. This is the true path to God. Whether you chant the name of Lord Rama or reach Him through deep meditation, that is the ultimate joy of life. That is liberation, and in that alone, everything is attained. The essence of sharing this story is simply this: the name of the Lord and turning one's consciousness toward the divine can guide even a thief onto the path of ultimate righteousness. We are already striving to walk on this holy path, so the Lord will undoubtedly guide us. All the sorrows and struggles of our lives will vanish if we merge ourselves with the name of Rama. When the grace of Lord Rama descends, first, Vivek, that is, wisdom and true knowledge, will awaken within us. Then, divine love and devotion will blossom. Gradually, our consciousness will evolve, leading us into the supreme state of samadhi, culminating in absolute, blissful union with the Lord. Thus, the couplet we began with. Binu satsang vivek na hoi, Ram kripa binu sulabh na soi, holds immense, fathomless spiritual science within just 2 lines. If we deeply understand this and mold our lives accordingly, we can effortlessly elevate ourselves to the highest spiritual states. May the Lord protect and guide us all. With this prayer, I conclude today's satsang. Thank you.